Dun. Let's turn this down a little bit more. Done. Let me just probably turn this off. Hey, Shapeshifter. Hey, Reza. Doing alright, just getting close to finishing this page. Probably going to be a short stream today. Because after this page is done, I'd like to either do another collector's set or try to get started on the Hetty crossover. Whichever works. I probably need to do this. It's gonna be a Marcy versus Hetty thing. Save. There, much better. Yeah, that was my desk. Luckily, it was just me knocking into the little stand for the keyboard thing, so I didn't even hurt myself. This is an old ass desk. I've had this desk for like, I don't know. I think this desk is like 20 years old. Maybe a little less than that. Yeah, I want to say it's like around 20 years old. Yeah, I did change my mind. I was like, fuck it. Yeah, I mean, if it works, what's the point of getting another one? Of course, it will suck if something happens to it and it all collapses and all this shit on here breaks. But I guess I'll cross that bridge when if I get there. Not when. I'm going to say if, because I definitely don't want it to happen. Yeah, exactly. Anytime there's been some shit that I'm like, this could potentially be a problem, or maybe I should do that. I was like, that's future me's problem. Past me is too busy saving random ass artwork for like the last 24 years. No, 23 years. And eventually I got to stop buying drives to save artwork on unless I'm going to make it specifically for the stuff I like the most. Mostly comic related. Because definitely can't do that forever. As much as I would love to. Just have like an infinite drive where I can save all kinds of art that I come across. But definitely can't do that forever. That's why it's gonna be weird when I stop. Like, dude, I've been doing this for like 23 years, and you're asking me to stop? Thank you. Yeah, I've been on a slight roll this week. Granted, it's a black and white page, but I hope to be able to do this with colored ones in the future. I don't see myself doing any color pages for this comic unless it's like just side art. But I could probably take some panels and decide to color them, but I don't know. Right now it's not in the plans, but that might change in the future. Like, it's never like an absolute no, because it's not like I can't do it, it's just a matter of, do I want to spend time on it? So if I do it, it'll probably just make that like a special edition thing where it's like, alright, well, not even a special edition because I don't plan on posting this comic publicly. Or like, you know, on like DeviantArt and all that. It'll be available to buy, but it just won't be public. So I'll probably toss in like some extra artwork just for the fuck of it. Okay, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Okay. Next. Just 29-ish pages left. Nah, hopefully it'll be like 15 pages left and then we'll be done. So if I can keep up 3 pages a week, then it'll just be like 5 more weeks and this will be over. And then some pages might be easier than others, so there's always the chance that I can do an extra page or two, depending on the scenario. Yeah, about 35, 36 pages. I don't plan on going past that. It was a little different for Kiwi's case with her comic because the situation kind of called for more pages. Let me see, how many pages was Kiwi's? Yeah, Kiwi's was 70, but that's because like a good chunk of it was the card game stuff. And then technically Kiwi, well, I wouldn't say it's exactly mainline, it's like middle tier, personally. But yeah, hers was a special case, because hers was like 59 pages of the story, and then the last 11 pages was just weight gain kink shit. What I wanted. I could color that chair if I wanted, but I don't want to. I mean, I guess I could do the bits of it, just so it doesn't blend in with her legs so much. Let me just see how this looks and then I'll decide. Yeah, let me just see how this looks to me and then I'll decide if I want it colored. Might as well just select everything. Oh yeah, that's part of the chair anyway, so I have to fix that anyway. Alright, let's just see how this looks. I don't hate it. I do need to fix this part anyway. Probably touch up a few things. Alright. Okay, pretty much got everything. So now let's just make some backgrounds. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm not always gonna stream myself working on this comic. This is kind of a thing to be doing right now. Honestly, nah, I wouldn't say it's weird, because, like, if I ever had, like, my backpack on me where I have, like, you know, like, Magic the Gathering cards or whatever, anything I would consider important, and valuable, I bring that shit with me, and I wrap that around my legs when I'm sitting at, like, a restaurant or something. I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not leaving that in the car. I'm not chancing that. Like, women always put their purses and stuff like that on, like, the back of their chairs, and I'm like, I don't know, like, the paranoia in me will just, like, assume that somehow in some way that's easy to just, you know, take someone's bag, or at least you know, dig into it without somebody noticing. So I get paranoid about that shit. Like, I boil it down to a matter of, like, if I'm able to do it, then I'm sure somebody who's more serious could do it. Especially if you're not paying attention, or like if you know, people don't pay attention very well. So all it takes is like a really good sleight of hand. Especially with nowadays, with people that have card readers that can scan the chips of your bank cards and shit like that. All they got to do is get close enough to like your pocket, to like your pockets or whatever, to try to scan your wallet. And just knowing that that's a thing makes me paranoid as fuck around crowds of like shady people at like malls or whatever. I was like, nope, nobody's getting close enough to me. Fuck that. I mean, granted, the odds of that is fucking low, but just knowing that that's a possibility now just like fucks with me. So I just try to avoid the situation altogether. And I learned that, like, what, over a decade ago? That was a thing. It's like, it's bad enough that some gas stations have those fake card readers over the cashier scanner, which is really fucked up. So it's bad enough that that's a thing. And like, I'm not even talking about like the scanners that are like outside where, you know, you pump your gas and all that. They just have it like at the register. Hello, Bersium? I know I'm gonna get that wrong. Bersium? That she does. And you're all gonna hate me later because this is like basically a comic Joker would have given. You're like, ah, look at that belly, and like, yeah, and look at it go away. And you're all being like, no. Probably bump it up to like a 30. Okay, I had this in black and white before, but what did I use the thing? Hang on, who's looking for? Looking for a reference of something I drew. Blah 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 blah. Ah, there it is. Let's see. Is that too dark? Yeah, it's definitely too dark. Let's bump it up to like there. That probably looked like I did nothing, but it was something. Nope. No, it's gonna end with weight gain, but there's gonna be weight loss first. Because the main focus is weight loss, but then it backfires, and then there's weight gain. The aftermath, like after the comic's over, sure, there's gonna be some weight loss again, because the whole point is to get this character kind of back to her normal look, but she might be chubbier than her default, and then that's basically the sweet spot for her. But primarily, the whole point of the comic is to tease with her abusing the collar. Alright, so did all that. Need her dialogue so I can know what the hell I want her to say. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to grab that. Do that in a moment. So let me grab that right now before I forget. There we go. Okay, the main point is she will be fatter than when the comic started, from her original look. So if that makes you feel better, there it is. Could probably squeeze this in better, so that way I can fit it. See if I can tweak some of this. See how this looks. It's fine if it interacts there, it's not even an important page. It is a little bit better if it goes up here. This makes a little bit more sense. Nah, sabotaging diets, I have that for like another set of characters. So it's not off the table, it's just I would save that for somebody else. This man is horny. That is a understatement. I am always thinking about story ideas, whether they are adult content or not. Whether it be like superhero stuff, action-y stuff, then going to like, oh, let's turn this character into a machine, or make it a horror-based thing, or something crazy. I mean, there's always something I'm thinking about. That's why every time I hang out with friends, I get bored, because I'm like, damn, I could be home drawing right now. That's 18. Okay, so I should just bump this up in general. Yeah, like I like all that stuff, but I like variety. I don't like being stuck on one thing forever. And plus, being open-minded to a bunch of different genres and themes and stuff like that just keeps things interesting. Because Lord knows what I would miss out on if I only stayed on one thing. Favorite weight game over an anime cartoon? Probably not really. Cause like I can think of moments, but I don't know if any of them are like my absolute favorite that I would like have like a go-to scenario. Because a lot of the times in cartoons and well, I mean, anime is the same thing as a cartoon. A lot of times in cartoons, they're for the most part held back a lot, and very rarely will you get ones that kind of go the distance. And the ones that do that are usually comedy based. Like it's just like, you know, they're made for jokes and stuff like that. So like you could have like that episode of Angry Beavers where they just keep eating a shit ton of candy and they get all fat and all that. It's like you have those moments, but it's never in a scenario where it actually matters. Like for example, the closest I can think of where it was actually part of the plot and it like was a thing was Totally Spies, where, you know, the characters putting on weight, well, it's mostly Clover, putting on weight was part of the plot, and it actually, you know, affected the world that they live in and shit like that. And like, you know, there had to be an actual like fix to it. There's rarely ever anime or other cartoons that stick with it or use it outside of a joke. Because like in anime, you always see like characters having eating competitions and stuff like that, or, you know, you'll have like like a stuffing session used as like a joke, and it's never permanent, or like it never stays with the character longer than like a scene. So personally, in cartoons and all that, I'd have to say no. I don't have a favorite, but there are notable moments. And then, you know, obviously like older cartoons did it a lot, like in not Snookums and Meat, because Snookums and Meat did it, but it was that's also like a comedy cartoon. I forget, it was like that one Looney Tunes cartoon where the dog eats a shit ton of meat and he's just like super stuffed, and then like later on a mouse, and I think it was a mouse and a cat show up with a bottle of gravy and just shove it down his throat. So there's and again, that's another comedy situation, but yeah, like comedy cartoons have done weight gain well. There's never been, well, there's obviously can be bad ones, but there's several examples where it's been done well and stuff like that, and you can see like really good body definition. But in terms of like favorite, I can't say, because none of them stick with it. Like it's never like longer, like a constant scene. And then the only ones I can think of that were part of the story in some way is just like you have like a character who is skinny, then they're fat, but it's never like an interesting kind of fat. Like for example, Naruto, how what's her name? I always forget her name. Girl. What's her name? Anko, there we go. Like you have Anko, who basically puts on weight during Boruto, and like she's obviously fatter from when she started in the series, but it's not like an interesting type of weight gain. It's just kind of like, okay, here's like the most basic bitch chubby character, and that's kind of it. Like there could be bigger characters than that have been in anime and other cartoons, but it's never like in a interesting. It's not. We're never gonna see it in the way we're thinking. Let me put it this way: we're never gonna see it in the way we're thinking, and it's never gonna be like part of like an entire fucking story arc. I mean, we're always going to get small victories. That's never going to be a problem. It's just, it's never going to escalate to it's never going to be on our tier level. I will work on World Gates whenever I'm ready to work on it. I'm busy with other stuff. But I do want to get back into it. Princess Fuka episode. Yeah, it's like again, weight gain in cartoons is mostly used as a comedy and never like actually part of the plot in terms of like staying consistent. And if it does show up as like, oh, a character is permanently fat or something like that, that character is barely gonna get any screen time. or if we're even lucky, return to the show. After being put in a woke category, people were fighting hard randomly against it. Well, that sucks, whatever situation that has to do with it. I probably missed some other things. It'll be exciting when you do the other stories. Oh, yeah. She'll be fun. Her story will probably be pretty short, because there really isn't much to do with her other than showing her doing degenerate shit until she hooks up with the rich guy. Do you have any plans to do a waking drive down the road? I don't know, because I was thinking of doing that with the Hetty Marcy thing, but I don't want to get into a scenario. Well, because like there's two ways I was gonna go about it if I did a drive. I was thinking of doing it where people basically donate for whichever team that they want to win, so it'd either be Marcy's side or Hetty's side. Then I also thought, okay, what if I just let them donate for both, and I'll just do artwork for both and all that. But then that felt like that'd be too much work and be like a headache. And then there's the whole, like, if people aren't interested in weight gain drives, then there's the chance that the artwork won't get finished at all. It's kind of almost similar to Luna's scenario and Vanilla's scenario. And so I'm probably just better off just making an art set and then just sell that. So weight gain drives weren't a bad thing, but I understand that, you know, there's always going to be a popularity bias, especially if people have seen the characters already in a weight gain scenario. Then that just makes it harder, because it's like there's barely anything new that can come from it, type of thing, unless I like spiced it up with whatever plot that I come up with. But even then, you know, that still requires people to donate to it. Yeah, I think just with weight gain drives, I'm more likely just to make an art set and just sell that as a whole, rather than wait on people to chip in for it. How do I go about this? So yeah, like if I do more weight gain sequences and stuff like that, it's more likely it'll just be an art set and not rely on people to donate. But that was a fun experiment when I did do it. But if I do it again, it'll probably be a bit on the rare side. Better off putting it in like here. Yeah, ultimately the set is probably better because it doesn't have a end goal, and people can just jump in. So it's more about, like, I'm more interested in, like, when I was doing it, I was more interested in, 1, the thought process behind it, 2, people's interest in it, and 3, if it was like something to experiment more with. So I learned a few things after doing it. But the ones that have been funded properly remain free. So that's not going to change. Yeah, that's why with the collector's sets, I try to sprinkle in stuff I'm interested in, and then of course I'll throw the bow into the weight gain stuff because, like, I know that's the bread and butter. Like, I'm not gonna be blind to that. Like, I'm not dumb. I obviously know what people are paying more for when it comes to my audience group, but I definitely still want to do stuff for me, so that's always going to be a thing. So as long as people are fine dealing with my shenanigans, I can deal with theirs. And luckily, I'm part of their shenanigans, so it's not like, oh no, I gotta draw weight gain, blah 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 blah. It's like, no, I'll do it. I just still want to do some fun shit that I like. So, as long as nothing keeps me from doing that, then we're all good. Just a little bit more. But yeah, like, weight gain is definitely not going to be a prominent thing with the comics because, you know, we're already drifting away from some of that. Caitlyn was just more of a situational, or Was it a situational thing? Or I think we might have voted on it. I don't know. But I had other ideas too. So like, for example, the slime dragon character, she'll probably show up in like probably Secrets 3 instead of the next one, because we're just now doing Caitlyn, so I don't want to do another Waygain comic right after hers in terms of chronological order. Or I should say production order, that makes more sense, because I don't know where any of this takes place on the timeline. Because it doesn't really matter. Do I want her yelling out loud? Probably just a little bit. Nothing serious. Oh, no worries. I just like going into detail of the thought process of it, instead of just being like, yeah, I'll do it later, or maybe, or whatever other bullshit answer that I could say. Like, I at least want to explain my reasoning behind it. And who knows, maybe my mind will change later on, but at least for now, I'd like to at least explain the thought behind it. But I always laugh of like on BBW Chan, where people thought that I was just cranking out the drives for money. I was like, no, I'm experimenting with what I can and can't do when it comes to putting out my stuff. And even though people liked the drives, there were some people that expressed they didn't like it because they didn't like the over-reliance on others to get the artwork made, which made sense. Same thing goes for the collector's set, where people assume I'm not working on stuff just because I'm pumping that out or putting that out whenever I can. And it's like, hey assholes, this stuff keeps me making more stuff, so I don't understand why people can't put two and two together. It's like when people complain about ads being on, like, YouTube, for example. It's like, well, without the ads, we most likely wouldn't have YouTube. Same thing goes for Twitch. Oh no, I won't listen to them a majority of the time, but if they have useful critiques, then yes, I will pay attention to that. Which is why I'm fine with, whatever happens on the site when it comes to my shit being posted. Like, it's not great that it gets posted there, but I'd rather understand the mentality and take whatever feedback I can so I can make my stuff better in the future. Like, obviously, don't, like, if somebody's talking shit on your work, don't listen to those type of people. But if somebody has like an actual good critique of something and has useful, information that you can use to help you get better in the future, definitely pay attention to that, because that's just going to make you better. So you just gotta understand what works for you and what doesn't. It's a random forum site. Sometimes they post art, pictures and stuff. Just depends on what you're looking for. Let's move that here. So I want her to have a dialogue box. Speaking of manga, they're already trying to fuck over people who make that with credit card companies. Because it's like, oh no, we don't like what Japan puts out. And we don't like what some artists put out, like furry artists and blah 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 blah. So we're gonna make sure that you guys can't use PayPal and other shit to buy your artwork. Meanwhile, hey, we're gonna support fucking CP. And I'm like, excuse me, what? It's like kind of weird that we're not banning websites that produce CP. Yeah, I would not be surprised if the people in charge of like Visa and MasterCard were on that island. That would explain a lot. But right now they're like trying to stop that shit with like manga and stuff like that, and I'm like, are you people high? Your job is to allow everybody else to spend their money on whatever bullshit they want to spend their money on. It is not your job to dictate what we buy. You are not a family-friendly company because you already allow people to buy adult shit. So stop overreaching and do your goddamn job. And even though MasterCard and Visa are the most, popular credit or card or money transfer companies in the world right now, eventually somebody will be tired of your shit and do it themselves. And at that point, everyone else is going to say fuck you and move on to that. So don't shit where you eat. I just do not understand how we got to this point. But unfortunately, I have no power over the bullshit of the world, so I just have to roll with the punches and hope for the best. Alright. I think we're good. Blah 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 blah. I think we're good. Save. Do the thing. Okay. I'll wait for the ad to end so people can hear me. Yeah, that only took me like an hour because I was already like mostly done with this. Oh well, at least I streamed it for fun. Are you asking me why it was named that way, or are you asking me when will I work on it? If it's the latter, I have no idea because I'm doing so much other stuff. There's the IHAT comics, there's Black Circus, there's Secrets right now. So, like, the idea is that I'm gonna try to finish off the stuff that I'm already working on in terms of comics that are currently having an ongoing story. When it gets to things like Buckle and World Gates, Buckle I'm going to be rebooting because I want to change the tone of that comic to be a little bit more on the horror based and stuff like that. That's where I want to have my mentality with that comic. World Gates is a question mark because on one end I can continue on where I left off on it, but where I was with it wasn't like a big deal anyway, so I could just remove that, honestly. Like, I'll probably still keep the pages up on like Dropbox just for historical or just for archival sense, but like I'll probably remove it on the public site because there's really no real reason for it to be there in the state that it's in. But the earlier versions of World Gates can stay because that's fine. I would continue where the 2006 version of World Gates ended off. The only problem with that is there are some characters and some moments in time that don't link up with how I've established the lore now because of IHAT being included as a part of the world. So there's just like a lot of things that have to be changed. So I'm probably just better off rebooting World Gates as well for the umpteenth time because I've done it like 6 times or something like that. Because there's that one. I've done it at least 4 to 6 times. But if I were to reboot it like once more, it's more likely to be the last time I have to do that because I'm a lot more organized with how I have everything now. And because back then I barely had like character bios, like not in the way that I do now. Like they were just like small little snippets. They weren't as detailed as they are now. Basically working on IHAT is technically World Gates. It is in the same universe. After I did the neutral ending of, let me put on some music while I talk. Because after I did the neutral ending of IHAT, that's when I decided I wanted it to all be in the same world. And so when I did true ending, that's when I redid everything. I was like, all right, it's taking place in the same world. That means all these things apply. Certain characters can show up. I'm trying to keep it within like chronological order. So certain features and certain events are either around or they're not because they haven't happened yet or they were already over and dealt with. Like for example, when Marcy and Skylar go to the seafood restaurant, you can see characters from Black Circus and characters from World Gates there. When Joanne goes to the underground, there are characters from World Gates there. So I've already established that those areas take place in the same world. So I am technically working on World Gates. It's just I'm working on the side characters of World Gates because that's what IHAT is. The whole point of IHAT is it's based around background characters. So like if I ever went back to working on World Gates, there's a good chance you will see characters like Marcy and Skylar in the background who serve no purpose other than to just be there because they all exist in the same world. And the main gimmick is that because IHAT is based on background characters, when you see them in World Gates or any other comic that is more important than IHAT, you'll have that little satisfaction going like, oh hey, I know who those characters are. And you already have their comic and stuff like that that you can reread or read for the first time type of thing. So it's basically a treat for your eyes to see the background characters in World Gates because they have their own stories. World Gates is a little bit more of a serious comic arc, because back when I was making it, it was all action based and stuff like that. Like, think of it as like fucking Dragon Ball Z mixed with furries and mixed with, I don't know, everything else that I fucking grew up with. Like, I grew up with like Dahak and Guyver and Spawn and everything else. So it's just World Gates is just my edgelord action comic. That's basically what it is. Buckle is more like Sailor Moon / Kamen Rider / I guess Ben 10, because I wasn't even thinking of Ben 10 when I made that. Ben 10 with monsters. That's basically what it is. So it's like that. And with the reboot of Buckle, I'm definitely making it more gothic themed, or like more gothic related. Yeah, and then Black Circus is just the villains of IHAT. So it's like background story, a story about background characters, and the background characters have villains. That's basically what Black Circus is. They are not, like, none of the villains in Black Circus are important to the overall world, because what they do barely matters in the grand scheme of things when you have like all these other cosmic entities trying to destroy the planet or have some effect on the planet. There's like one or two cosmic entities that even affect Black Circus because of their own role in the universe. And like with Creamfield is like in like a middle ground purgatory spot, because it takes place, it's almost like Creamfield is in between IHAT and World Gates in terms of where the fuck it is, because all the characters are in purgatory, so nothing they do matters. All the characters they've interacted with are from IHAT or World Gates, but they're all proxies, so they're not even like the real ones, the real versions. And then there are god characters that interact with Creamfield because there's a storyline that goes with that. So there's a reason why the gods are interacting with the Creamfield characters to begin with. Like Daylock, for example, she's a World Gates character. She's been around since early 2000s. Yeah, like Sakenzaki might get a redesign to better fit where she is in the lore and stuff like that. More to keep her away from looking like Essence, because the whole point is that Essence is supposed to be like a variant of Sakenzaki in terms of like lore or creature relation type of thing. Like it's supposed to be like a reference, not like a direct thing. But yeah, like again, there's a bunch of shit that I've had planned and had thought about and had doodled and drawn and blah 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 since like 2001, maybe 2003 at the latest / earliest of that. So just a lot of it has been reworked because of IHAT, because IHAT basically helped me get my thoughts together better, and so now I'm trying to like get that all organized. So yeah, so whenever I'm able to get back to World Gates, that's when I will get back to it. I can't promise when. Even though I would have liked to have done it sooner, it's just when it happens, it happens. That's like the best way I can say it. Same thing for Buckle. But the main plan right now is to finish up all the comics that are currently on my plate. So once Secrets is done, then I will work on either IHAT Volume 2 or Black Circus Volume 1. And if I can work on the other, then I will probably at a slower pace just because I want to finish one faster. So, you know, the sooner I get done with one, the sooner I can finish the other. And then once both those comics are done, I'm going to look at how I've been doing everything. Because one of the ideas I have is that I could potentially do it the way I was doing Buckle, where each comic was about, or each issue was about like 18 pages. So do it in like an issue sense. Instead of like a full-on volume chapter thing that I've been doing with IHAT and Black Circus so far. I could do it that way, but if I feel like I can just do a full-on chapter, then I'll probably be better off doing that. But whether or not I work on like the next IHAT or the next Black Circus after I'm done with the current ones is up in the air, because I would like to work on Buckle and I would like to work on World Gates again. So whenever we get to that point and on the bridge, then that's when we'll decide if I cross it or not. But yeah, right now the focus is just finish the shit that I was already working on. And I don't know, maybe I'll finish that Sonic side comic that I was doing years ago, just because that was already there. Oh yeah, like let me see if I can find it real quick. I mean, this is probably not even relevant anymore, but I'll bring it up anyway, just in case. Is it over here? That might be it. Let me see. No, that's definitely not it. Where is it? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Oh, there it is. Like, this is old, but here was the roadmap. Like, look at Secrets. Secrets is already derailed by, like, 2 different fucking comics. But yeah, like, this was the plan. I don't know if this is still the plan, but this was the plan. So yeah, like, I clearly know what I want to do. It's just a matter of getting there. You went back to sleep. No worries. No worries, I'm almost done with the stream tonight. But, like, you see me arguing about stuff, but at the end of the day, he puts so much love into characters. Yeah. So yeah, clearly a lot of shit has happened. Like, even Blueberry Jam showing up in episode 2 was going off of the plan. Because she was supposed to show up later, because I was gonna give Raz her own comic, but instead I just kind of swapped their places. I was like, alright, since I introduced Jam early, I'll just move Raz's story to where Jam was. Or her short comic to where Jam was. And then episode 7, I don't even know if that... Oh yeah, never mind. I know which one that was. At first I was thinking it was something else. Okay, yeah, so episode 7 can still happen the way it happens. 8 is all short stuff because it's all just whatever. 9 is probably the only, or one of the few ones I'm looking forward to, because it's like, okay, I want to see Strawberry and Blueberry fight, just because. 10, 11, 12, and 13 are just to push out the damn characters, because I made so fucking many. And then the final is to help gear it towards going back to World Gates' universe. So there's that. Black Circus is going the way it's going. So no changes that I can think of aside from how Clover falls into all this. So Volume 6. It's like, alright, Clover is like not as sinister as I implied. So what am I going to do with that character? Am I going to have that character fall into the consequences of not being in the circus? Or am I going to show them having a very, very, very twisted side to fall into the category? Go Girl? Oh, Lizzie? Yeah, she was originally going to be the start of IHAT Secrets. And then Caitlyn took her spot. But since Caitlyn took her spot, that means I don't want to do Gula's story right after. So I might push Gula to episode 3, and Lizzie gets episode 2. So there's that. And then with IHAT pretty much is unchanged. Like, there's no real reason to change any of that. The only thing that might change is just how I draw the comics, or how I color them and all that, color and shade and all that, just to save time and shit like that. And then Tiny Pets is just like a side thing. Like, it's not important at all. I could save it for way later down the line, or use it for like some other project. But or just use the characters for cards, whatever. Like, Tiny Pets is like the lowest on the totem pole. And then there's still like other comics that I've had planned for, like the one that Marcy was watching on TV in True Ending, in Chapter 6. Like, that was its own storyline that I had planned far off in advance. Like, that could have been its own thing. Then there's like the card game thing. I can make that its own series. Like, I'm a near infinite well of ideas, and my only problem is time. If I had infinite time, I would do every fucking idea in my mind, and infinite so on and so forth. But yeah, so I have plans. It's just a matter of when I get there. So yeah, that's the hard part, is just whittling them down. Because, like, let me just pull this out as an example, because I don't mind talking. Where is it? I'll use this. So, like, most of the... Oh, jeez, that is a small-ass brush. Do this. So, like, most of these, I could probably do without, personally. They're not that important. They can be short as fuck, just to save me some time. And I mean, like, short. Not like, air quotes, short, hey, I'm gonna make, Caitlyn's story short, and we're already on, like, fucking page 20, and she's just now having a fucking pot belly going on type of short. I mean, their stories could be like 5 pages each character, and that'd be the end of it. Type of short. Maybe more if I'm generous, or like if I feel something needs to be pushed out just a little more to make sense. And then I know this character's story is ridiculously short, because there's not much to her. She just does her thing, it's like twisted, and then it's over and done with. This character's story is a little bit longer, but only just to show how fucked up in the head she is, which helps make her end up in the Black Circus. Miss Spellberry's, her story isn't too long, but it's long enough to show why she's in the Black Circus. This character, Darlene, hers isn't too long, but I definitely want to get to the point with her of why she's in the situation she's in. Mona, her story isn't too long, but it's definitely going to be fleshed out more, like just to explain her scenario better. And then of course, you have Blake and Skylar. Their stories are going to be fucking bloated. Alright, have a good night. Yeah, like if I didn't have to worry about fucking time, then I'm pretty sure I'd just be like, nah, we'll get there. But yeah, this is why I've been trying to tinker around with how I do my art, like in terms of like shading. So like trying to not lose the quality, but be able to do them faster type of thing. This is why I've been experimenting. That's why I've been doing the collector's sets and the weight gain drives and stuff like that, because I've been experimenting with how long certain things take and what I can and can't do, and how can I do something without losing quality, because I want to do this stuff faster. I want to get to all these stories in a timely manner. I don't want to be like, hey, we're gonna do Skylar's comic, but that won't happen until 2030. Like, I don't want that to happen realistically, but I can't promise that it won't happen. But that's why I'm trying to do everything in my power to crank things out fast. Like, literally the only way I could crank things out any faster is if all the comics were in black and white. And I don't even do like this level of black and white. It would just be pure this. It would be this the entire time. Just no color. It might be like the screen might be pure white instead of this gray, but like other than that, it would be like that level. It would be like early IHAT levels of black and white. It'd be like this. Let me find Marcy's first comic or first page. And even this is probably a stretch. Yeah, I'll grab this. It's like, it'd be like this, and even this is probably too much for what I'm trying to say. Because like with Marcy's first comic, I just doing it for the fuck of it, mostly doing one panels because I figured, okay, I'll just do single panels and just work my way up. And then it wasn't until like page 14 that I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do multiple panels, and it just ended up being a comic. So yeah, unless I just completely say fuck it to certain details and stuff like that, then it's just gonna take as much time as it needs to take, because I don't want to like nerf it for no reason. But I don't know. I guess if I do something like that, I'll have to run it. I'm more likely to run it by you guys. I'm gonna be like, okay, how do you guys feel about the comic being in this color or in this like shading style instead of I guess Lizzie's is the best example here, instead of like Lizzie's art style type of thing. It's like pick your poison. Me, I'm fine with whatever. Like, I have the patience to wait. I just don't like making others wait. That's my only issue. Anyway. Can close this now. But anyway, enough of my ranting. I hope you guys enjoyed me working on this and trying to explain some shit. Yeah, like, again, it just kind of boils down to how Because again, I personally would prefer to just color and shade every page the way I have been, because I want those details. But if it got to a scenario where I would have to do less than what I'm doing with secrets right now, if I was going to get to push out stories in a more timely manner, like let's just say I was able to do like 3 stories in a year or something like that, then I would definitely run it by you guys, because if you guys are willing to deal with those changes, then cool. But if you prefer for me to just, you know, do what I want to do in terms of quality and stuff like that, then sure. I would probably leave it up to you guys on that. But me personally, I'm fine with being as thorough with the details as I can, because that's just how I want to do it. But as long as you guys are willing to wait for those stories, then that's fine. Like, if it hypothetically took me until 2030 to get to Skylar's story, then, and you guys are chill about it, then cool. But I definitely would want to run that by you guys, because I hate making other people wait. I'm a patient person. I can wait forever for certain things to happen. To me, on a personal level, like, oh, if somebody's working on a comic, sure, I'll sit there and read it for 3 years. But I don't like making other people wait. It will click with you eventually, and you could, yeah, like, there'll probably be something that just be like, okay, cool, I can do it this way, and then I somehow just pump out like 1 billion pages in like a month. If that happened, cool, that would completely take everything I'm saying right now and throw it out the window. It'd be like, hey, dumbass, you can now make 60 pages in a week. I'm like, no way. If I could do that, Jesus Christ, if I could pump out 60 pages in a week, good lord, do you know how many fucking comics we would fucking blaze through within a year? But yeah, if I somehow figure out that fucking mathematical equation, then I'll fucking do it. But hey, managed to get 3 pages this week. That's a nice change. So hopefully I can keep that up. But like I said, I'm going to do the best I can, get to the comics that I want to work on and reboot and everything else. I'll get there when I get there. As for this, I'm gonna put this up as soon as the stream's over, and then afterwards I'm gonna work on either the Hetty and Marcy crossover thing or versus thing, or work on another collector set to put out. And then I'm like, and then like, if I have time to work on another comic page, then I'll do that too, because I would like to be ahead on that, or at least get started working on that. So I'm gonna try to be better, or no, not even gonna try. I will be better putting out pages, because I'm gonna make that a serious goal for the year. Yeah, I'm just gonna continue trying to, or continue growing and doing better. I'm trying to take try out of my vocabulary, because like, it's not about trying, it's about doing it. I don't want to try to get better at art, I want to get better at art. So, or I will get better at art. But yeah, so gonna do some stuff. Probably gonna re-look at the tiers of Patreon at some point, just to, why is there so many goddamn ad breaks? Anyway, look at what I have on Patreon and see if there's anything I need to do, because I know the $10 tier has been neglected greatly, so I need to start making more shit for them. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for hearing me rant for like the last half an hour or so. I will stream again tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm gonna draw for this stream, or if I might try playing a game or something, but we'll see how my mood is by the time that time happens. But yeah, you guys have a good... Did I color that in? No, I did not. Hold on, let me fix that real quick. Well, looking at this panel and I'm like, something's wrong here. you. Hold on a moment. Okay, now that my ADD has stopped kicking in, I don't have ADD as far as I'm aware. Just making a joke there, but anyway, thank you for coming. I'm gonna do more shit. See you guys tomorrow, and you guys take care and have a good day. I'm just gonna say day. That's basically what it is. Have a good day, everybody. All right, I'm done talking. Bye bye.